You're watching Rain Knight Gaming.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Rain Knight Gaming. I'm Rain Knight, and in this video, we're going to start our short series of looking at each one of the structure decks and pitting them against each other so you can find out which structure deck in a closed format is better against each other. So what I did is, I popped into Wingtable, put the whole deck lists in there, and I played 10 games versus each one of the decks using just structure deck 1. Then I did the same thing with 2, same thing with 3, same thing with 4. And so I could get results for all of those. And, we're just going to go one episode at a time, talking about each deck a little bit more in depth so you can understand why it's good, maybe why it's not good, all that kind of stuff. And then at the end of that, I'll tell you guys know which deck I think is the best. So first up, we've got Heroic Beginnings ST1, and this is going to be the original Gundam and Witch from Mercury, so UC timeline. Here we are, we jump into Wingtable, and you can see I have all of the deck lists here. I kind of did a little guessing, as you saw in another video, of getting 2 ofs to get to that 50 card pool. Somebody said they may still release some more cards for these sets. I don't know. If they do, I might take another look at them. But right now, a deck being good is not going to be really outweighed by adding 2 new cards at 2 of. These decks are pretty much good off of their consistency cards. They're 4 ofs. Are these 4 ofs better than these 4 ofs? Is this style better than this style, kind of thing? So take a deep look here at Structure Deck 1. You can see the whole card pools right here. You don't have a ton. So you're going to play a little bit of everything. First up, we're going to talk about Demi Trainer. Demi Trainer is a really fantastic early card. I think it can be really underlooked sometimes because when you have the expanded format, there may be a little bit better ways to start decks. But this is a 1/1 drop that has blocker. I mean, it's good early game because it gives you that board presence early, and it's good late game because it can save you from losing a shield. They can swing with an 8 damage unit. You block with this one. Guess what? You're outvaluing. And this deck is all about card value. It just beats out decks because it outvalues things. So Demi Trader is really good, lets you save some of your cards. Gem, it's a vanilla, but it is a 2/2 vanilla, so actually a fairly decent starter. Like if you're going second and you have 2 of these in your hand, you can drop 2 of these, and that's a pretty good start, and about as good as you can hope. Then we've got Zwart. Zwart is just another blocker. It's really, it's a 2/3, is really good. The only thing is it can't attack players. It can only attack their units. But because it's a blocker, that's not a huge deal. Plus it's a 2/2, that's a 3/2. So that automatically gives you that little bit better value for it. Just another thing, and also that's our second blocker in here, so really good. Gun Tank. This is not the gun tank you're used to seeing. This is the gun tank that will rest enemies that have 2 or less HP. But that can come handy in helping other decks that maybe have other blockers. You want to rest those blockers so you can swing in for life, or if you just want to try to remove something, this can come in handy. Plus, it's a 2/3, so that 3 is actually a fairly decent back end. And a lot of these cards, let's see, starting with him, all these link really well with all of our pilots and all of our command pilots. And in this smaller format, doing those links with those little side pilots onto these becomes very important. Gun Cannon is, it's a vanilla. It's not the really good gun cannon. That is, the one you see in a lot of the main decks because it can rest things. But this thing is a 2/4. So if you put a 2-life, I want to say trainer. You can see I've been playing a little Pokemon too. If you put a 2-life pilot on it, that brings them up to 6. And 6 is just a huge booty to get through. So this thing is going to outvalue its opponent or your opponent by making it use more than 1 attack to get through it in that early game. And swinging for 2 attack, and if you boost them up with maybe the 2 attack pilot or something like that, or let's say 1 attack, he's still a 3. That gets rid of a base, your EX base, really early on. So this guy, even though he's vanilla, he has a link, he has a big booty, he's not bad at all. Grandpa Gundam, this is like the definition of why this deck outvalues other decks. He's a 3/4 that only costs 3, and he's got the heal on there. The heal you may not think is really good, but dropping him turn 4 and maybe already attack and linking and attacking, or just dropping him turn 4, attacking into any 2 damage. You know, if you're attacking into a Demi Trainer, he's going to heal that back. Attacking into a gem, he'll heal that back. All that kind of stuff. It's all about value. So you pay the cost, you make them give more cost to get rid of him. And if you're taking out more than 2 cards with him, or maybe you're, taking out several bases with him, you're just getting so much return on your initial investment. And that's why this card is so good. It also lets you trade up for your other units because of his plus 1 AP. So, I mean, that makes a Demi Trainer a 2/1. 2/1 can get through a lot of stuff. You can get through a gem, can get through a Schwartz, it can't get through a Demi, one of these guys, but pretty darn good. And that's just why this deck is so fantastic. Getting into some of our white stuff, we've got Gundam Arrow Bitform. You may think this isn't that great of a card, just seeing it, because it's a level 4, 2 cost, 3/4. It looks okay, but it's actually, in this format, a little better than you would think. Because it's a 2 cost, at that level 4, you can go ahead and put Mercury on it, and you're looking at a linked monster, linked unit that can just swing at boards and just clear things off, because again, it's 4 health, big booty. This is the big booty deck. And then of course we've got Score 6. Score 6 is another one that reduces the AP 5. It lets you basically trade into anything if you do that pair. Just another thing, remember, outvaluing your opponent. It's just all about getting the most value out of the least amount of cost. Just a really pretty good card. This one may not make it as much into your decks as your other cards, but it's still really solid in this format. Then this one you may not think is great offhand just because it's just a draw 1. Okay, whatever. There's so few draw cards in the structure decks that this draw 1 can be huge, because you drop this on turn 5, put a pair on it, or you link it with Amuro. He's got a ton of health, ton of HP, and you get to draw a card. Yes, please. So this deck is fantastic. It does not have a single weak unit in it. All of these are really solid, really good to play, and my dog is underneath the table here. That I'm not just leaning down to look deeply into the camera. I have to pet her head or she will run around and bark. You're a good girl, aren't you, Zelda? Yeah. Okay, let's get into the bases. The bases, one good base, one bad base. Starting off the bad base. We've got the Earth House. Rest this and all friendly units that are linked get 1 AP. That's kind of the thing. You're not going to have a ton of linked units. You may have 1, 2 on there, and then you can get some value out of it. But turn 2, it's not very much value. This is one that I definitely would not keep in the deck if you had more options for bases. Then we've got white base. White base is amazing. I would much rather play 4 white base than 2 and 2. That's just what I wanted to limit it to, get the 50 cards to get the testing done. But white base, again, it's all about card value. You play this, if they let you keep on making units, you are just outvaluing like crazy. You're going to get board advantage. You're going to get card advantage because you're just playing 2 energy or resources to get a card out. And that's not costing you any cards in your hand. And a lot of times these matches come down to, do you have cards in your hand, or have you been out-resourced so you just don't have anything to put on the field? And that's what this base does. It lets you get the 2-2, the 1-1, the 3-3 guys on there that are just going to steamroll over your opponent if they don't take care of this base fairly quickly. Pilots. This deck has really good pilots, like really freaking good pilots. Amuro Ray, he's obviously been one of the better pilots throughout this whole beta format, and he always played because he lets you rest those enemy units. You can put blocker to rest so you can hit in. One of their irritating other cards that are on there, you can go ahead and rest that before maybe they put a pilot on it. It's going to let things attack pretty high, get that little bit more HP. Just a very, very strong pilot. And Mercury. Mercury is another super strong pilot. This one is going to give you the extra booty, which is really nice. It doesn't give you the amount of attack, but sometimes that attack doesn't matter all that much. What really matters is out resourcing. Because remember, it's all about trying to get more resources than your opponents. And what does she do? On attack, you get to unrest one of your resources, and that is crazy good. If you keep on attacking with her more than once or twice, you are just getting so much more value out of her than your opponent. Commands, they're okay. You know, you're mostly going on your pilot. These pilots are going to be linking to try to get you that early game pressure. This guy's not bad. You can clean up some smaller guys with that +1 pop, so not terrible actually. Then the normal command, this one can be good for getting better value in your trades. Say they're swinging with, you know, something with 3 attack. You can just throw this, save your unit, they lose a unit. It just gives you more card value. So this is actually not terrible. This guy's he's kind of terrible. But you know, he's going to be able to link, and that's basically all you're going to use it for. Sometimes you'll use his heal to maybe save your grandpa Gundam or something like that from being killed, but okay, that is this whole deck, and it's really good. Let's look at the scores on how it did. So obviously I didn't go against myself, and during Structure Deck 2, he went 7-3, which is really, really solid. A lot of times, I think those 3 losses, 2 of them were because my hand was just super bricky and his was super good. So those losses could get cleaned up probably if you maybe did this in an even more longer list. Structure Deck 3, we blew it out of the water. Only 2 losses in that one. And again, as I'm playing this, I'm getting better with the deck. I did take some time to learn the decks before I played them. But if you're playing 30 games with a single deck, you're going to get better at it. And I do highly recommend you guys do that before these actual tournaments start. But as you can see, 2 losses. I almost got a 1 loss out of it, but I lost my last one. And again, these were very bricky hands. And this is against the one that is like the rush deck. But this one actually outrushes things a lot of times. And then against Structure Deck 4, blew it out of the water, 9-1. Pretty crazy. Some of my notes: strong early game, big booties, card draw, strong pilots. My spelling terrible. White base, all about value. And again, this deck is just value on top of value. At the end of these videos, I'm going to tell you whether I think it's one of the best decks or one of the worst decks, and I think you can tell the way this one's going to be going. This is easily one of the best decks, if not the best deck. Yeah, I mean, it lost 6 matches out of 30. That's a really good ratio. And a couple of those, you know, if you ran this out maybe 50 matches per one, which I am not doing, that ratio probably gets smaller just because this deck is consistency on top of value and is just fantastic. This is probably going to be my pick for the one that I play in the actual tournament, but there is one surprising one coming up in the week. That's going to be in for this one, guys. Again, Structure Deck 1, very good. In the next couple days, you're going to see Structure Deck 2, 3, and 4. And you guys can decide which one you like best, and I'll tell you which one I like best. But that's going to be it. Remember, if you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready. And I'll see you in the next one. See ya.